Good morning, everyone. Welcome to all who are joining us both online and in person. This morning, we are joined by the retreat participants. Live our best now. You may want to look around and guess who they are. We often call this senior retreat. In Korea, we say that growing older is not simply about aging or the inconvenience that come along with it. It is also about becoming more mature and seasoned. Their lives hold the wisdom that only experience can bring. And during this retreat, I also noticed something else. These matured adults are also incredibly playful. It almost feels as though I can catch a glimpse of the child they once were. And through them, I feel like I've seen my own mother and father in a new way. So we are very grateful to practice together with them this morning, centering them in our meditation. Let us begin now with bowing practice, followed by yoga stretching with Karen. Please all rise. Let us join our palms together, our minds and hearts together. We are standing before Ilwonsang, one circle image, Dharma Kaya Buddha fourfold grace. Please join me in standing posture bowing practice. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the infinite source of marvelous existence. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of parents, ancestors, and everyone who has given me life and nurtured me. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of fellow beings, embracing the truth of interconnectedness. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of laws which guide us to develop justice and freedom through Dharma and universal principles. And now please turn to your neighbor Buddhas and let us greet each other. Please remain in standing. Karen will guide us with her yoga stretching.
Good morning, everybody. So let's just get nice and relaxed in the body and soften at the knees. And we'll begin by doing something that we call breath of joy, which is almost like you're conducting an orchestra. So you would take 3 short inhales into the nose with your baton. And then on the exhale, you would fold over as far as is comfortable, bending the knees. And then we immediately start again, 3 short inhales, okay? So let's begin. Out of the mouth, into the nose. Out of the mouth, into the nose. And we'll do one more. Now take your time, slowly rolling up, just stacking your vertebrae one at a time until your head is the last part of your body to fall into place. Excellent. So we'll step the feet a little wider than the hips, and you can bring your hands onto your hips if you like. And we're just going to begin to circle at the knees. Doesn't have to be a big circle, just noticing where in the body you're feeling sensation. In the knees and in the hips, in the ankles and the feet. And then we'll circle around the other way. Just notice sensation anywhere that you feel it. And then we'll come back to stand, and we'll bring our awareness now to the mid-body, say from the hip joint to the shoulders, and we'll do something called a barrel roll. So it doesn't have to look pretty. It's going to look a little awkward probably, and we're just going to circle around at the mid-body. Just warming up the spine a little bit, and the shoulders. Beautiful. And then come back to center. And with awareness of the shoulder area, shoulder girdle, we're going to roll the shoulders forward and up, squeeze them towards the ears, and then with a big inhale out of the mouth, drop them down. And then roll them forward and up. And exhale, back and down. Whew. One more time. Forward and up. Squeeze, 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 and exhale. Back and down. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and step the right foot forward. Doesn't have to go far. Make sure you're feeling stable on your feet. Feet are hip distance apart, or could be a little bit narrower, whatever feels better. We're going to bring the hands behind the body and interlace the fingers, or just reach for your wrist if that feels better. Be sure to roll the shoulders back and open the chest from one side to the other. Now, pressing into the big toe of the front foot and being or feeling really grounded in the back foot, we're going to take a big inhale. And on the exhale, leading with your heart, we're going to hinge forward with a straight back and just only go as far as you feel comfortable. Then you can begin to round your back if you like. You're feeling a big stretch behind the legs, especially the leg that's in front, and draw that hip of the front leg slightly back and the other hip slightly forward. Really plugging into that big toe. And then grounding both feet into the earth, inhale yourself up. I hope that felt good. Step the foot back. Other side. And making sure you feel stable. Plugging into the big toe of the front foot. Roll the shoulders back, big inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. So we're hinging forward at the hip crease. Folding over the legs. If you feel comfortable raising the arms up behind you, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. The hip of the front leg will draw back slightly to increase the stretch. Try not to lock your knees. Keep a little softness in your knees. And then pushing into the earth, lift yourself up on the inhale. And step back and release the arms. Shake out the arms a little bit. I forgot to ask how much time you would like me to do this for. At least 10 more minutes, right? So step the feet nice and wide. So toes are pointing forward here. Again, we're all wearing socks, so just be mindful of that because the floor can be slippery. Let's bend into that left knee, interlace your fingers, press down on that left knee. Now turn the right foot up so you're on the heel. And again, don't worry about how far you go down. You really just want to feel that stretch of that inside of that right leg. Breathing as you squat down and then inhale up. That right toes come back down again and we go to the other side. Bending into the right knee, left toes come up. Big stretch of the inside of that left leg. Now we come back up again. One more time on the other side. Inhale, come back up again. Last one. Stretching out the left leg. Now come back up again. Keeping the feet where they are, we're going to turn the heels in and the toes out. Bending the knees out to the side. Take the backs of your hands and press to the front of the knees or the inside of the knees because they're going to want to come in. Instead, we're going to try and push them out. So you're tucking your tailbones, lifting your heart, lifting your spine, pressing the knees back. Breathe. Now bring your arms to cactus. Squeeze an imaginary pencil between your shoulder blades. Feel the heat building. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Now inhale and push up, push up, push up. Relax. Take a breath, take a pause, take a breath. Now let's all turn the right toes out and the left heel slightly back. Look down at the floor and connect or line up the heel of the right foot with the arch of the left foot. Inhale, raise your arms up to T, straight out from your shoulders. And we're going to look over at the right middle finger. Breathe. Now the front knee is going to be straight here for a moment, but we're not going to keep it locked back. We're going to try a little modified triangle. So we're going to reach forward with the upper body and drop the hips back towards the windows. And then we pivot the arms. Let the right hand rest wherever it falls. You don't have to go far. Breathe, big stretch here. Inhale, come back up. Relax the arms. Now we'll bend into that front knee, okay? Arms come up into a T, smile. Let's inhale the arms up, palms touch, and then bring the right elbow to the right knee as you reach across the ear with the left arm. Yep, watch your balance. It's not easy with socks on. Inhale up and relax the arms, relax the feet. Take a breath. Other side. Left toes out, right heel back. Intersect front heel with back arch, starting with your triangle. Arms come up, look over the index finger. The middle finger of the left hand. Then begin by reaching forward and shifting your hips back. Then pivot the arms so the front arm just rests wherever it falls. The back arm goes straight up or wherever you're able to go. Trying to stack the right shoulder on top of the left. And then inhale up. Bend into the front knee. Again, looking over that middle finger. Arms come up, palms touch. Inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee. Right arm comes across the ear. Beautiful. Inhale, push yourself up. Face front, palms together. Step the feet hip distance apart. One more. Okay. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Let's step the feet together now, palms together. Let's interlace the fingers and just extend the index or pointer finger. Supine crescent moon. So we bend, bending into our right knee, reach towards the windows. You can separate your feet if you'd like to. Inhale up, change sides. Bend the left knee, reach the other way. Big opening of the side body. Inhale up. Relax the arms, palms in front of the heart center. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.
Please take your seat. Wiggle your body side to side, back and forth. Find the most comfortable body posture on your mats or in your chairs. Now we'll engage in silent sitting meditation with Kathy reading the method of seated meditation.
Sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair. Breathe in. Grab all your tension and breathe it out. Open up your chest and heart. Stretch up tall and align your spine from your neck to your tailbone. Relax your shoulders and arms, then allow your hands to rest on your knees. Bring your attention to your breath. As you exhale, release all mental and physical tension. Invite your attention to abide in your chi energy field, which is called Danjun. This is located about 2 inches below your navel and is the power center for your breathing. Open your eyes and gaze downward over the end of your nose and to the floor. Keep your mouth closed and allow the tip of your tongue to rest gently against the roof of your mouth. When your mind is concentrated and calm, pure and clear saliva may gather in the mouth. You may swallow it. Relax your facial muscles and notice your gentle smile. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not be discouraged or disturbed by them. Simply focus on your breathing without reacting to or playing with those thoughts. Recognize them as thoughts, and they will disappear by themselves. And remember to keep bringing your awareness back to your Danjun breathing center. If you continue practicing meditation for a long period of time, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation, in which the mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused, and at peace, with no distinction between self and others, time and place. We are grateful to sit quietly together, finding the still point within. May we be here now, aware of our ever calm and alert spirit.
Today we are going to focus on sutra chanting only. Ilwonsang vow, page 4. I will save Heart Sutra for the next week. Ilwonsang vow, page 4.
Ilwonsang vow.
One is the realm of samadhi beyond words and speech, the gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, origin of heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings, lost the true nature of all Buddhas, enlightened master, unenlightened people, sentient beings who one manifests as both permanence and impermanence, fused as permanence, till one unfolds into an infinite world that is ever abiding, spontaneous, just as it is fused as impermanence, till one unfolds into infinite birth through the cycle of formation, duration, decay, and extinction of the universe, and the birth, aging, illness, death of all beings, according to how we use our minds and bodies in the four forms of earth. We transform through the six realms of existence, progressing, grace arising from harm or harm from grace. For we unawakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after Ilwonsang, the Dharma Kaya Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies, deeply knowing human affairs and universal principles thoroughly, and using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain the great empowerment of Ilwon and become one with the nature of Ilwon. Please put down your booklet. You may simply roll your shoulders, relax around your neck, your head and shoulders. Today we are happy to listen to a Dharma talk from our teacher, Reverend Jieun. She's going to give us a talk on living fully through understanding life and death. Please join your palms together. Let us greet Reverend Jieun.
Good morning. As Reverend Ginger said at the beginning of this service, since Thursday, we've been on a retreat here with the theme, Live Our Best Now. And during the retreat, we have taken some time to reflect on a very fundamental question, something we often do not pause to look at deeply in our daily lives, the question of life and death. This is a question that belongs to all of us. So this morning, I would like us to take some time to reflect on that together. When we truly reflect on life and death, it begins to change how we look at our life. When we are young, we live as if we will never grow old, as if death will never come. And throughout our lives, we put a lot of energy into what we believe are important milestones, like the moments we consider big, like getting a job, getting married, raising children, buying a home, or moving a new place. We're always working toward something, always trying to become somebody and achieve something. And then one day, as we begin to notice the signs of aging, I remember when I realized I needed reading glasses to read books. We may start to feel a little confused. And as death begins to feel more real, we may feel ourselves anxious and unprepared. Sotaesan, the founding master of Won Buddhism, said, ordinary people think that only living is important. But those who are truly awakened see that dying is just as important. Because life and death are not separate. Life is the root of death, and death is the root of life. And he also said that after around 40, we should begin packing our bags for the journey ahead after the age of 40, so that we will not feel rushed at the very end. So I'd like to begin by sharing how Won Buddhism understands life and death. Sotaesan compared birth, aging, sickness, and death to the cycle of the 4 seasons. Just as winter passes and spring returns, like you see now, when this body comes to an end, not everything disappears. What Sotaesan called the luminous awareness or the numinous awareness continues its journey and takes on a new body when the right conditions come together. He explained this in a more detail. So after the body dies, this consciousness may remain in an intermediate state for months or even years, like something drifting in the wind. And until it takes on a new body, it may still feel as though it has its former body, almost as if in a dream. And once it enters a new body, the previous consciousness fades, and it comes to identify with the new body as the self. In this way, in Buddhism, life and death are not seen as completely separate. If we were to express this very simply, they are like a revolving door. We go in and then we come out again and again. Like the circular image you see here at the altar. Those who are awakened see this as a transformation, but ordinary people call it life and death. In Korean, when someone dies, we often say they have returned. It means returning to the place where we came from before this life, even before entering our mother's womb. In a way, it means returning home. There was a deeply respected elder in our tradition, a disciple who learned directly from our founding master and was known for her deep understanding of life and death, Yetawonim, Venerable Yetawonim. And she once shared a story that had stayed with me ever since. Before I share it, I invite you to keep something in your mind. She was born in Korea about in 1925, when transportation was not as developed as it is today. In the past, in rural Korea, when a woman got married, she would be carried in a traditional bridal sedan chair, so lifted by 4 people in each corner, to her husband's home. As she crossed rivers and mountains, leaving her parents behind, she would often cry the entire way because it felt like a final farewell. I remember, even as a child, seeing images like this on television, the bride sitting inside that chair, often in tears. In those days, once a woman got married, it was generally expected that she would not return often to her parents' home. It does feel a bit unfair, doesn't it? And then Venerable Yetawonim offered another perspective. She said, but think about something else. In those days, a child might walk many miles to school every day, traveling far from home, and yet the child is not sad. Why? Because they know they will return home in the evening. She offered another example. She said that when people visit relatives at the time who live far away, even across mountains, there are many mountains in Korea. Even if they stay overnight, they are not filled with sorrow because they know they will come back. So in the same way, she taught, if we truly understand the path of life and death, we can approach death differently. Not as a final separation, but like visiting a distant place. Like staying one night at a relative's home. Or even like setting off on a little long journey. And eventually, like a traveler returning home, we too return. She said that we should gently train our hearts in this way so that when the time comes, we can live with peace. From this perspective, the question becomes, okay, then how do we prepare the long journey? In Won Buddhism, there are many teachings that guide us in this preparation. So we are encouraged to form meaningful Dharma connections with good teachers and spiritual companions because they can support us during the journey. And to make clear and sincere vows and to continue the practice of refining and training our mind, just like you are doing now. And most importantly, benefiting others. And these are all considered very important practices because when we consider not just this one life, but the many lives that continue beyond it, these are the very qualities that guide us most deeply along the journey. They don't disappear. And among them, today I'd like to focus on one in particular, learning how to let go of attachment. Attachment means we cling to something so tightly that we cannot let go. It's like tying a heavy stone to the wings of a bird. It cannot fly. When we are attached to something, we lose our freedom of mind, the freedom to move on, the freedom to be at ease. And when we hold on tightly, those attachments can become like burdens that we carry with us, making our journey heavier and more difficult than it needs to be. There's a story of a wealthy elderly woman who came to a meditation retreat. This story comes from the time of our founding master. After just 1 week, she decided to leave. She said, if I stay here, I keep worrying that my soy sauce, my chili paste in the jar in the yard, and even the firewood at home might be stolen because they are outside in the yard. In those days, these were often kept outside in large earthenware jars in the yard. And she said, I have my son and daughter-in-law at home, but I don't trust them. They're not going to take care of things. Because of this, I cannot focus on my meditations. I gotta leave. After she left, Master Sote-san said to the disciples, attachment is truly frightening. It binds people with invisible ropes and drags them into a prison. And he said, among all things in life, the most important is to die without attachment and freely move on. So maybe we can begin by asking ourselves, what is it that I feel I cannot let go of? It may be a relationship or strong emotion like resentment, or even a fixed idea, something like it should be this way, or it should have been this way, or even I am right. And it's not always easy to recognize whether what we are holding on to is attachment or not, right? And even when we do recognize it, it's not easy to let it go. Even when we know something is not helping us, we still find ourselves going back to it again and again. Venerable Yetawonim said that the most fundamental way to let go of attachment is to reflect again and again on the truth of impermanence. Everything in our life is constantly changing. Our body changes, our relationship changes, and even our thoughts and emotions are constantly changing. So from this perspective, in Buddhism, even what we call the self has no fixed, independent essence. But we often forget this, and we hold on as if things will last forever. This was the very truth that Shakyamuni Buddha awakened to, the reality of birth, aging, sickness, and death, and the ever-changing nature of all things. The diamond straw says that everything we see is like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, and a shadow. if we misunderstand this teaching, we might fall into a kind of nihilism. Like, if everything is constantly changing, then what's the point of making an effort for something? And in fact, one disciple once said to Sotaesan, I feel as though everything is empty, like nothing really matters. Sotaesan, instead of giving him a direct answer, guided him in a different direction. He encouraged him not to stop there. He might understand the truth of impermanence, right? Sotaesan said, do not stop there, but look more deeply to inquire into the unchanging truth within all that is constantly changing. When we truly understand this, we begin to see that while everything is always changing, there is also a deeper dimension of truth that is not shaken by those changes. It's like looking at the sky. The weather is always changing. The air, the clouds, the rain, and the sunlight, nothing stays the same. But the sky itself has been always there. And when we begin to see these both aspects of the truth, we naturally feel a sense of humility, as if we are being gently held within something much greater than ourselves. This is how we come to truly understand impermanence. And this understanding becomes the ground from which letting go can begin. And one of the most immediate places we can begin to practice this, letting go, is in our relationship with material things. Sotaesan said, no matter how much wealth a person accumulates, nothing can be taken along at death. So how can you call such things our eternal possessions? Every time I packed to move to a new temple, from Korea to Los Angeles 20 years ago, and from Los Angeles to Chicago, from Chicago to here, I was overwhelmed by how many things I owned, so many boxes through UPS. And for me, letting go of things takes a lot of time. I often have to think about it again and again. Do I need this or not? And there was even an old English-Korean dictionary I bought when I was 16. A thick paper one, this thick. I hadn't used it in years. These days there are many other ways to look up a word. And yet I kept carrying it with me from place to place, from Korea to United States, And it was only this year, almost 30 years later, that I realized it wasn't really about the dictionary. It was something harder to see, a kind of attachment to a part of myself from that time in my life. A complicated one. It wasn't simply nostalgia. There was something unresolved, something I had not fully let go of. I can't explain what it is now, but there was something unresolved in me. And only when I saw that more clearly was I able to let it go. So I quietly offered a small prayer for that 16-year-old girl, like a little ceremony, and let her go along with the dictionary. In this way, the things we hold on to often reveal what we are holding in our mind. And sometimes by letting go of the things we are attached to, our mind becomes a little lighter, a little clearer, and a little more at ease. It can be a good practice. But letting go of attachment to what you own does not mean you have to reject everything. It means that we can still enjoy and make use of this time of material abundance, but not be bound by it, not becoming enslaved by it. So I invite you to reflect. Is there something in your life that you are holding on to a little too tightly? And when you do, what happens in your mind? Does your mind feel more free or more tense? If it were no longer there, what would arise in your mind? And this is not only about material things. We are also deeply attached to the people or pets we love. And naturally, separation brings great suffering. My mother is now 80 years old. And when she was diagnosed with breast cancer at 65, my heart sank. I was filled with fear, the fear of losing her. It was the first time I felt so vividly the fear of loss. And thankfully, the surgery went well, and she's now quite healthy. But now, every time I visit Korea and spend time with my parents, I visit Korea once in every 2 years and spend time with my parents. And I notice that they are aging because I see them just once in every 2 years. It's very noticeable every time. And to be honest, that's not something I really want to face. Some of you may have experienced the loss of someone you deeply love, or you may still be carrying that grief, or perhaps you have gone through a tough, painful separation or breakup. Feeling sorrow in those moments is completely natural. There is nothing wrong with it. Even Sote-san, when a disciple who had been with him for a long time passed away, he shed tears and felt deep sadness. And yet, over time, those feelings begin to soften. They gradually loosen. And little by little, we find ourselves able to continue living our lives. That too is very natural. But when attachment to someone who has passed does not easily loosen, perhaps we can reflect in this way. For those who have passed, it may help to see that they have not simply disappeared from our lives. Rather, they are continuing their own journey in another form. And the connection you shared with them does not simply vanish. It's still here. For me, one helpful way to gently loosen this kind of a sense of loss or fear of loss is to transform it into gratitude. Remembering what was given rather than holding on to what is no longer here. And this is not only for those who have passed away, but it can also apply in different ways to those from whom we have parted. A truly good relationship is not one where we feel we cannot live without the other. Though many songs seem to say that, but one in which we are happy when we meet And even when we are apart, there is a quiet sense of steadiness, a sense that we are still connected and supported. And when the time comes, we are able to let go peacefully. Today, we have reflected on the practice of letting go of attachment as one part of preparing for the journey of life and death. So living without attachment may sound like a life that is less interesting, less colorful, even a bit boring. But I think it's like enjoying a meal without too much sauce. Like too much sauce like ketchup, like barbecue sauce or hot sauce. And tasting the natural flavor of the ingredient, the fresh ingredient. So it may not immediately exciting, but over time, we begin to feel a sense of nourishment and well-being. This is why Sote-san said, when encountering all things, cultivate a calm and balanced taste of life. I hope we can all learn to meet our lives in this way, with a calmer mind and the gentle freedom to let go when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Jieun. Always I enjoy your talk. And thank you to introduce that theme itself, life and death. And you connect it to the attachment. So she said that attachment is like invisible line that binding us together. But there's another invisible line which we want to cultivate. And I named it as gratitude line, as we practiced yesterday. So one way to cultivate that gratitude is through reminding us again and again. And we have a reminder for that. Page 6, Essential Dharmas of Daily Practice. This says how to skillfully use our minds and hearts. Page 6. Essential Dharmas of Daily Practice. 1. Two, the mind is originally free from delusion, but delusions arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the wisdom of our true nature by letting go of delusions. 3, the mind is originally free from wrongdoing, but wrongdoings arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the precepts of our true nature by letting go of wrongdoings. 4. Let us replace disbelief, greed, laziness, and ignorance with belief, zeal, questioning, and dedication. 5. Let us turn resentment into gratitude. 6. Let us turn dependency into self-reliance. 7. Let us turn reluctance to learn into willingness to learn well. 8. Let us turn reluctance to teach into willingness to teach well. 9. Let us turn lack of public spirit into eagerness to serve the good of all. Among many fun activities we had for the past 3 days, we had another special program we called Open Mic, Express Yourself, which we are going to name it differently from next year, which will be Haha, Big Laugh Gathering. So last night, our retreat people came up here and they shared their poems, stories, and songs. They're all wonderful. And to represent the group, I asked Andrew, our member, one key song to share with us. You know, he has such a deep, rich, and cave-like voice. So please welcome Andrew.
Deep breath, everyone, please. And release. Well, was happy and a little perplexed and nervous when Reverend Ginger asked me to speak. But I said, why me? And to keep with the nature of our songs, last night, I am me, as you are he, as you are me, and we are all together. Do we remember that? Well, first of all, I'd like to thank all the ministers who shaped and provided the spiritual space for us, the participants in this retreat. Reverend Ginger, who with a light touch most of the time and generous spirit paved the way for us on our journey. Thank you, Reverend Grace. Is she here? Reverend Grace, for the knowledge of and strong voice for Won Buddhism. Thank you, Reverend Jieun, for the inspirational talk on aging and gratitude, and for today's speech or sermon. And thank you to the participants who openly and kindly shared their life journeys with and among each other and our groups. Names are important. I'd like to thank Annie with an I-E, Franny, Ann without an E, Kim, Stephen, Laura, Robert, John, Jenny, Karen, Carolyn, Ellen, Stephen, Alan, Anna with an A, Beth, Don, Margaret, and Mark. Thank you from my heart. My experience is one of kindness and generosity of spirit and gratitude, to put it simply, at this retreat. This was a journey of discovery and realization for me. The openness of others sharing their lives and circumstances with me helped me to express my own feelings. And the commonality that we all seem to share about aging and living our best now helped me to be more mindful about the upcoming years of my life. To be mindful of the beauty around me was another aspect of life that was shared by all. I know how easy it is to live in your own mind and let the buzz keep going and going, and to forget to be grateful for the beauty around me. But I feel more open and alive today as I write this. Our experience during our activities, especially calligraphy and clay modeling, helped me to remove the buzz that often fills my mind. But most of all, speaking from the heart and listening to others and share their life experiences was very inspiring for me. And it was mentioned the other night, a bird flew into to the window, a woodcock, And Ellen kindly wrote a poem about it. It was very, very nice, very inspiring, and I think it's kind of a metaphor for what we were experiencing here during this time, preparing for death. I feel that the woodcock, birds, animals, bees, fish, mammals, they are all, with the exception of humans, they are all prepared for death. We have to be a little more aware. Anyway, thank you, everyone. And thank you for the retreat. And let's do it again next year.
Wow, thank you so much. I didn't give you that much time, but wow, you prepared a lot. So if you'd like to have this kind of experience, you can come and attend one of our retreats. And our next one will be held over Memorial Day weekend in May 22nd to 25th. One more thing to share about upcoming activity and event in our temple, which is our Great Enlightenment Day celebration. So it'll be held on April 26th. So this is also the founding day of One Buddhism. And this year, we're going to welcome 5 new members. We put that as Dharma naming ceremony, April 26th. Community lunch will be following after that. So please mark your calendar for that. I hope to see you there. And as we end our gathering, I invite you to offer the merit of your practice in prayer for all suffering beings. Among them are Franny and Andrew's friends, Bruce and Terry, and their dog, who were involved in a serious car accident last night. We also hold our member Michael Hodgkins in prayer as he experienced an unexpected infection during his procedure yesterday. So please join your palms together. Let us hold all of them in our thoughts and prayers. Namu Amitabha. Namu Amitabha. Namu Amitabha. Namu Amitabha. Thank you for your prayer and thank you for joining us and sharing your practice this morning. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday. And our beautiful retreat participants, please stay here for our closing circle.